Hello, everybody. This is going to be my episode 5 Falcon and Winter Soldier in depth recap, review, etc. This is a very good episode. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of, you know, you know, uh, character growth, etc. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Episode starts off with Walker presumably running from the scene where he publicly executed the Flag Smasher. Uh, and it shows while he's running, it shows like images of his actions, like going through his head, and once he's inside, um, you hear like the words Lamar echoing through his head. He says, well, Walker says, "You told me you didn't want me to go in. Why didn't I listen?" And we get plenty of close-up shots of the shield covered in blood, like this one, and you can see the there's literally blood on Walker's hand, so some symbolism there. And here's a shot of him kneeling in the warehouse, just contemplating his actions and grieving the loss of his friend Lamar. Uh, and he gets up the same and says the same words that Lamar said, "Time to go to work," as Sam and Bucky walk in to confront him. And you see here Walker basically pretending everything is okay, like he didn't just murder someone in the middle of town square with the whole world watching. And he also pretending to care about like Sam and Bucky. He said, "Oh, you should get a medic. You don't look so good." When they're here for completely other business. Um, nah. After Sam and Bucky tell him to stop, and he insists he had to kill the flag smasher. He had no choice to. This is similar to what many police officers said into regards to them killing unarmed people or people trying their best to comply. Everyone saw what Walker did, and everybody understood that it was wrong, and he's just gaslighting to justify it. Sam starts saying that he needs to stand down and that they might consider his military history at his trial. But most importantly, he needs to give up the shield. Walker seems to take this as them just trying to get the shield, like they have some ulterior motives. As Walker says, "You don't want to do this," and Bucky replies, "Yeah, we do." They start fighting. Here's a shot of Bucky and Walker fighting over the shield, displaying that they seem kind of be like equal in strength, in my opinion. Though Walker Walker's supposed to be like a tad bit stronger, but Bucky's got the vibranium arm, and that gives him an edge too. Walker, throws the shield at Bucky, and it launches him across the room. Walker rushes up, pins him, blaming them for this fight. "Why are you making me do this?" he says. The fight continues, and we get this cool scene of Sam dragging Walker across the warehouse with a sort of like Batman style grappling hook. It's just kind of showing off the kind of things that Sam can do with his equipment. I'll take a mint real quick. Walker pulls him down the ground, and they're both floored by this. Uh, but Walker gets up and he's able to like pin Sam down. Walker proceeds to tear off Sam's wings, and he almost kills Sam the same way he kills the Flag Smasher. This is Sam kind of like um, flinching, just like getting bracing for impact as like Sam's bringing down the shield. Um, Luckily, Bucky intervenes. Bucky fights him for a moment, then Sam helps out. They are able to pin him, and they are trying to take away the shield from him, but Walker isn't letting go. So they end up having to break his arm to make him let go. Walker gets up, says it's mine, even though he just broke an arm. So he's got to be in some pain, though. Um, I don't know. Captain America in the comics, he's been shot and stuff and didn't realize it. So maybe it's like a similar situation like that, where he's just like amped up on testosterone. You don't feel it, but whenever Walker gets up, Bucky's able to handle him. He like beats him pretty bad, and he lifts him up and swings him into swings him as Sam is like he's like flying forward with the shield. It's a really cool scene. Uh, and basically, after that, all three of them are floored for a moment. Bucky gets up and he drops the shield next to Sam, who is pretty upset and starts wiping the blood off of the shield because he believes he's responsible for what Walker did, but he's not. Uh, Sam just wanted Sam wanted to retire the shield. He didn't know the military was going to give it to Walker. Next scene, it shows the GRC having started raiding camps and arresting basically everybody that at the facilities the Flag Smashers were at. We have to remember that these people were just trying to survive. The GRC didn't help them, so they accepted food and help from the Flag Smashers, and they got arrested for it. Here, here shows Sam and gang at some location going over stuff, and Bucky leaves to go get Zemo. As Torres arrives, Torres starts talking about how Walker killing something is a pretty big deal. Of course, and how higher ups are handling the Flag Smasher situation instead because of how much a mess Walker created. Torres also notices how messed up Sam's wings got and starts looking at them. Uh, Sam doesn't tell him that Walker broke them. Sam takes the shield and leaves the wings with Torres, maybe foreshadowing Torres becoming the next Falcon after Sam becomes Captain America. Next scene goes to Walker's court martial. Walker wants to try and clear the air about how, in his mind, he had to murder the Flag Smasher, and they don't want to hear it. He starts talking about how he's a product of the military. True. They basically created the monster that he is today. This is what we see in real life with police and military often uh, being trained to solve things with violence instead of trying to dissolve the situation. Then Walker and his wife are outside the courtroom trying to figure out what to do next, and we get our first look at Julia Louis Dreyfus as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, aka Madame Hydra, from the comics. And although it's uncertain whether she will be Madame Hydra in the MCU, she basically tells him everything he wants to hear. Tells him, "Oh, not to worry about getting the shield back. It's actually not the government's property. It's a legal gray area thing," she says. And she says it's actually a good thing he took the serum. It makes him very valuable. She gives him her card, which is blank, and tells him to answer her call when she does. Next scene, we have Carly and the Flag Smashers walking through the camp they were hiding out at, and they see the signs that GRC basically arrested everyone there. GRC is leading with aggression, not compassion. It's kind of the same thing that Walker was doing. Carly goes through all the names of people they have lost. She then exclaims, "How many people must pay their lives just so they can be citizens of this planet?" And next scene, we got Bucky confronting Zemo at the Segovian Memorial. Zemo says, "Don't worry, I decided not to kill you." He then talks about how Carly is too far gone, and that Bucky must make the decision to kill her, as he was programmed to kill. Bucky says, "No, we're not doing it. We're going to do it our way," which is the good way to go. Never trust Zemo is what I always say. Here's a shot of the Sokovia Memorial. Bucky then holds his gun up to Zemo's head like he's going to shoot him, and I even thought he might do it for a second. All people, Zemo might deserve it, uh, but he doesn't shoot him. He's just proving a point that he doesn't have to kill. Next up, the Dora Milaje roll up to apprehend Zemo. They tell Bucky they're taking Zemo to the raft, where all supervillains are taken. That way, there's very little chance that he will escape. This is also likely foreshadowing a future Thunderbolts movie or series. Io tells Bucky he probably shouldn't go to Wakanda for a little bit, while at least until this is all settled. He then asks a favor, and we assume it's a new suit for Sam. I'm sure we will see it in the next episode. We then cut to Sam going back to see Isaiah Bradley, and here we see the future Patriot one more time. Sam goes to Isaiah, who is watering his plants, and he's wanting to understand what went wrong to make Isaiah so bitter. Isaiah talks about how soldiers fought in the war only to have crosses burned on their lawn when they get back home. Sam is about to say that he could have been the next Captain America, but Isaiah doesn't want to hear it. They go inside. Isaiah shows Sam the letters from his wife that they refused to give him while he was in prison. They told her he was dead. Explaining that him and other black soldiers were given different versions of the serum, but were lied to and told it was a tetanus shot. Similar to the kind of real world stories we hear about the US military experimenting on people. The others weren't stable, but they were sent on missions anyway, and they started dying off. Some of them got captured, and the military just wanted to blow up the prison to cover their tracks. But Isaiah goes and rescues them, defying orders. The same thing that Steve did in the Captain America movie, but Isaiah was instead put in prison for 30 years, where they experimented on him, trying to figure out why the serum worked. He then reveals a nurse saved him by having him declared dead. Well, he says that she took pity on him, but she might have just been trying to help him. Um, Sam wants to help and bring attention to the injustices, but Isaiah just wants to be left alone. That things haven't changed, and he would be dead in a day because the military wanted to erase him and his history. He believes a black man will never be allowed to be Captain America, and it's hard to disagree with him after hearing his story. And he goes on to say that no self respecting black man would ever want to be. Sam then goes home, and it shows him and his nephews fixing a net, and he's excited about taking them out on the boat one last time before selling it. But they inform him that Sarah said it's too messed up to sell. He's upset, but she just didn't want to tell him because he looked upset the night before. Sam talks about how Sarah and their mom try to help everyone out, uh, help everyone in the neighborhood out, and it might be time to call in a few favors to help fix the boat. Loads of people show up, and it's a really good depiction of a community coming together to help each other out. This guy says, when the Wilson family needs help, we still have a bit of usefulness left in us. Bucky even shows up out of nowhere to help pick up this engine off the truck. He's also there to drop off a gift, presumably new wings from Wakanda. Pipe connected to the boat acts up, and Bucky tightens it. Bucky then offers his help to fix up the boat. And Bucky then proceeds to flirt with Sam's sister, which Sam does not seem to appreciate at all. We get a good montage of both Sam and Bucky working on the ship. Also talking about how Carly is probably going to, double down on what she's doing. Still unsure how to stop her. Um, Bucky then talks Sam into letting him stay. Oh yeah, with one rule though: don't flirt with his sister. Walker then meets up with Lamar's family and lies to them, telling him that the guy he killed is the one that killed Lamar, not Carly. Uh, and that he would never let the person who did get away. This is probably also foreshadowing that he plans on killing Carly. Lamar's mom talks about how Lamar would rest easy knowing that the person who killed him, got justice, which must be heavy words for Walker to hear since we know the person who killed Lamar is still out there. Next, we have Sharon Carter doing some more shady stuff on the phone with Batroc the Leaper and sends him on a mission. Bucky then wakes up with the kids playing with the shield, but they put it back and run off like they're in trouble when he calls out to them. Sam and Bucky work on the ship some more, but Sam gets in trouble for looking at the water pump because Sarah had told him the pump is not the problem, and she sends them on their way. Sam and Bucky start practicing with the shield, and Bucky talks about how him and Steve didn't understand what it would mean for a black man to be Captain America, and he apologized for trying to force it on him. He also talks about how When Sam retired the shield, it felt like he was losing what left he had of a family. Sam says he understands, but also says that Steve is gone. It seems they want us to have the idea that Steve is dead, but we have no proof of that. And that is actually true. He's likely hiding away somewhere away from the public eye, maybe on, Fury Space Base. Bucky talks about how he's still having nightmares, and that means part of him is still the Winter Soldier. But tells them that, but Sam tells him that if he wants to climb out of the hell he's in, he's got to do the work. They have a bro moment, and Bucky leaves. Now the boat is all fixed up, um, and Sam is going to paint over like the name so they can sell it, but Sarah decides not to sell it at the last second. Sam is really happy to hear this and talks about like wanting to preserve his family's legacy. Sam said he used to say he wanted to change the world, but he always felt that Sarah thought he was running away, and she assures him that she never felt that way. She asks him if he's going to listen to Isaiah, and Sam says he understands why Isaiah is the way he is, but what would be the point of all the pain and sacrifice if he wasn't still willing to fight? We didn't get a really good training montage with Sam doing a lot of flips and stuff, practicing throwing the shield. He does push-ups, running, etc. It might just be me, but he seems more muscular in some of these shots, like he maybe built some muscle too, but it might just be a stunt double. Then it cuts to Carly in Central Park talking about how she got help, and Batroc rolls up with some weapons and a fake smile. He's just here to kill Falcon. Carly activates the Flag Smasher app, signaling her followers to action on her plan to stop the GRC vote. Sam is here watching the news about the Patch Act, which, if passed, would deport millions of refugees back to their countries of origin, displacing, you know, tons of people. Probably cause a lot more harm than good. Torres calls Sam and informs him that there was a Flag Smasher ping in New York. Sam says he'll take it from here. It then cuts to where the GRC are planning, and this guy just referred to as the senator right now, or the politician, is talking about it, how it doesn't matter, and that the people will believe whatever optics they will tell him. He doesn't think that it's even necessary for a vote. He thinks it should be obvious to deport all these people against their will. There's plenty of pushback from others in the room, but it's clear that the senator in question doesn't care about the well-being of the refugees. Then this happens, presumably the a Flag Smasher making their move, um, and the episode ends with Falcon opening up the briefcase or whatever, taking a look at his new equipment, and then we get a there's also a post-credit scene where we see Walker doing we, Walker making his own shoddy Captain America shield made out of like steel or something. and it's very reminiscent of the scene with Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, you know, hammering away at his first armor, and probably uh, this is probably symbolism because Marvel always like every time they've used like the hammer scene, it's been like meaning something. It's like supposed to be like the beginning and end. Like in the Infinity War saga, they had the sound at the end of Endgame. So this might be a them saying, "Oh yeah, this is the start of our like phase 4 or whatever, our Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts or whatever they have planned." So yeah, that's it. That was episode 5. I'm pretty excited for the finale. We'll get it tomorrow night. Uh, but yeah, uh, I'll be excited to watch it. And watching this on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe button. And I'm gonna keep these videos coming as much as I can. And I'll talk to y'all later.